page 10 in our prayer books.
Shabbat gather to welcome the Sabbath, our Queen. Behold her descending, the holy, the blessed, and with her the angels of peace and of rest. Draw near, draw near, and here abide. Draw near, O Sabbath bride. Peace also to you, you angels of peace. Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome for all of those in person. We had a wonderful Tu Bishvat pre-neg to kick us off tonight, and welcome for those of you at home, staying warm, didn't come out in the cold. And so we begin our Shabbat by lighting our Shabbat candles on page 2, and I am so very happy to welcome Rondi Brower and Linda Kahn-Gale for all of their help this evening in making the pre-neg a reality, and for all of their efforts with Social Action and Green Team. Page 2.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Toda Rabbah, thank you so much. And we continue on page 9, and we read responsively. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand and wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. When the Kabbalists in the 16th century were doing Shabbat, they were traveling up the mountain on Shabbat, and they were singing as they were doing it. And on this Shabbat, Shira, a Shabbat of song, we sang Yismechu Hashamayim on page 13. So you'll see a lot of nature imagery on this Tu Bishvat Shabbat and lots of song for Shabbat Shira. But not in that key. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, L'tagel haaretz. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, L'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umalo. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umalo. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, L'tagel haaretz. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, L'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umalo. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umalo. We read together at the bottom of page 22. The righteous bloom like a date palm. They thrive like a cedar in Lebanon, planted in the house of Adonai. They flourish in the courts of our God. In whole age, they still produce fruit. They are full of sap and freshness, attesting that Adonai is upright, my rock in whom there is no wrong. And as this week is the Song of the Sea, our next prayer, Mikolot Mayim Rabim, is on the next page, page 23, and you will find the Hebrew in the third paragraph, 4 lines down. Mikolot Mayim Rabim, Adirim Ishperei Yam. Mikolot Mayim Rabim, Adirim Ishperei Yam. Adir b'marom l'Adonai, Adir b'marom Adonai, Adir b'marom Adonai, Adir b'marom Adonai. Mikolot Mayim Rabim, Adirim Ishperei Yam. Mikolot Mayim Rabim, Adirim Ishperei Yam. Adir b'marom Adonai, Adir b'marom Adonai, Adir b'marom Adonai, Adir b'marom Adonai. And we turn to page 29. We read responsively, O God, you are as near as the very air we breathe, yet farther than the farthest most star. We yearn to reach you. We seek the light and warmth of your presence. Though we say you are near, we are lonely and alone. Oh, let our desire be so strong that it will tear the veil that keeps you from our sight. Let your light release our darkness and reveal the glory and joy of your presence. Please rise for the Baruch Hu. And we read together at the bottom of page 33. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Please be seated. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'chol nafshecha u'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadivarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha bebeitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shachbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yedecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha lema'an tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet. Page 39. We read together. Top of the page. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. So as this week is Shabbat Shira, and we have the Michamocha in our Parsha this week, we have a special melody that we sing for this time of year. And depending on where you are in the world, you can pick a Sephardic tradition, Mizrahi, Ashkenazi. I'm going with the Sephardic tonight, and it goes like this. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, osei feleh, Adonai yimloch, le'olam ba'ed, Adonai yimloch, le'olam ba'ed. Yai-da-dai, 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 and so we continue with our song for Shabbat V'Shamru on page 44. V'Shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam, berit olam. V'Shamru, V'Shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam, berit olam. Beini, beini, uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam. V'Shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam, berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. V'Shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam, berit olam. Vayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. V'Shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam, berit olam. V'Shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam, berit olam. And we rise for the Amidah, our standing prayer, on page 46. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim.
טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם מכלכל חיים בחסד מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Please be seated. We continue together at the top of page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Top of page 59. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, chato shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. And we take a moment for either the prayers on the page or the prayers in our hearts.
and take a moment to think of those in our circles of concern and those who are in need of a refuat hanefesh, a refuat haguf, healing of mind or body and spirit. And we pray for those who are in need of healing: Bob Deitch, Carol DeBoer, Joe Falick, Linda Feinblatt, Roger Ford, Javi Freimark, Barry Gordon, Earl Hecker, Sherry Coates-and-Halber, Merrill Hirschland, Richard Hittow, Steve Keating, Sally Keaton, Melinda Salson, and Judy Zimmerman. And to those names we add, so we take all of those into our hearts as we sing Misha Berach together and send all of that healing out into the world, page 253. And don't forget to take just a little bit for yourself. Misha mangosteen. Anybody? Has anybody ever had a mangosteen? So, they are a fruit that is the color of a plum, a rich, deep purple. They have several health benefits, but mangosteens have a really hard outside. So, that means that someone a long time ago looked at this plant and said, yeah, I'll chance it, I'm hungry, and cracked it open and found the juicy goodness on the inside. Mind you, when you do crack it open, it looks a little alien, fleshy alien on the inside, but it tastes scrumptious. So on Sunday night, we have a holiday all about trees and all about the different fruits of trees, Tu Bishvat. And we had a little pre-neg before. Tu Bishvat has the very original name for a holiday, meaning the 15th, Tu, of the month of Shvat. It's a minor holiday in the Torah. It's really the new year of the trees, but specifically fruit trees, so that the temple could start collecting that year's fruit tithing. So really, it's a holiday all about taxes in the Torah. It wasn't really until the 16th century with Rabbi Isaac Luria in Sfat, the mystical city of Sfat, when the Kabbalists based the Tu B'Shvat Seder on the Passover Seder, adding a little wine, 4 cups, and it's like, oh, let's add 15 fruits while we're at it. So the 4 cups of wine transform us starting from winter with our white glass and take us all the way to spring and summer with a deep red full glass. It's a sensory experience connecting us to nature. Tu B'Shvat at its base layer can be a fun holiday giving thanks for nature and trees, but it can have deeper hidden meanings too. This weekend is also, as I mentioned, Shabbat Shira, because of this week's Parsha B'Shalach. This Torah portion is so full of miracles in nature, the biggest probably being the parting of the Sea of Reeds, which is where we get the special name Shabbat Shira from Shirat Hayam, the Song of the Sea, where we find the Michamocha. There's a midrash about the crossing of the Red Sea, as told by Rabbi Lawrence Kushner, which tells of 2 Israelites, Reuven and Shimon, standing on the shores of the Red Sea as it's parting. Nachshon had already jumped into the sea, and the Israelites and all the animals, scared that the Egyptians were already coming, they started walking, so it's big, it's loud, it's crowded. Apparently, as they were walking, the bottom of the sea, although safe to walk on, wasn't completely dry, and it was a bit muddy. So Reuven stepped in first and curled his lip and said, "What is this mud?" Shimon scowled as he stepped in next. "Ugh, there's mud all over the place. This is just like the pits of Egypt." Reuven, growing increasingly annoyed, said, "What's the difference?" And Shimon complained, "Mud here, mud there, it's all the same." And so it went for the 2 of them, grumbling all the way across the bottom of the sea. And because they never once looked up, they never understood why, on the distant shore, everyone else was singing songs of praise. See, for Reuven and Shimon, the greatest miracle in the history of the Jewish people never happened. Now, Shimon and Reuven were not the only Israelites complaining. The people make it across the sea, parting, and they come to Mara, named so because the waters were bitter. And the people grumbled and complained to Moses, "What are we going to drink?" So he takes some bark from a tree, and he throws it in the water, and the water is sweet and safe to drink. An aside, happily to my surprise in researching this week, this is actually scientifically possible and true. In 2019, a new science article by scientist Jason Wren at Princeton University, a reputable source, I think, has developed a type of desalinization process using a thin piece of chemically treated wood, American basswood. Then it's heated, the salt remains, the water flows through, no salt. Miracles in the Torah made by modern science. The Baal Shem Tov looks at this verse and says, the bitter waters, a little bit of Hebrew grammar, thinks that the water's not actually bitter. It only tasted that way because the people themselves were bitter. After experiencing the miraculous redemption at the Sea of Reeds, they were shocked to find themselves without fresh water to drink. Perhaps they expected that the miracles they experienced in Egypt at the Red Sea would never end, that it turned out a little bit of a bitter pill to swallow. Then, the Israelites land safely in Elim, which seems to be this oasis in the desert with 12 springs of water and 70 palm trees, so they stay there a while. Rashi notes that it was the same number of springs for each of the 12 tribes and 70 palm trees for each of the elders, although they hadn't been appointed yet, so. But rabbis think that they are more than just recuperating, but also learning and studying Torah. One of the reasons why they think this is because on the surface level of this story, the tree appears to have healing properties sufficient to sweeten the bitter waters. On a deeper level, the use of a tree and the juxtaposition of God's blessing led the commentators to believe that the tree has to be the tree of life. Which in turn, it's like, oh, if it's the tree of life, then it must be Torah. And so, Eitz Chaim Hi, it is a tree of life for those who hold fast to it. And one of the connections we have to Bishalach and to Bishvat is that it's a holiday of trees, and we immediately think about Eitz Chaim Hi. Because Torah grows, and we grow, and trees have roots, and Jewish people have roots, the Torah tells us that we are partners with God in the world. It's not just miracles and words of Torah. We must be helpers with God in the work of creation. But are we noticing the world around us? Are we like Ruvain and Shimon, not noticing the big miracles in the world? The first cup at the Tu B'Shvat Seder is called Asiyah, actualization and realization about the world around us. We're supposed to eat fruits with hard outsides and yummy insides like the mangosteen, although at most Seders you'll commonly find bananas and oranges. Did Ruvain and Shimon create a hard shell around themselves where they could not notice the world around them? And have we created a hard outer shell to protect ourselves and our emotions? Are we missing out seeing the beauty inside people and the world around us? Are we like the Israelites, bitter about what the world can't give us and not looking at what it actually does? The second cup in a Tu B'Shvat Seder is called Yetzirah, formation. We eat the fruit with pits like olives and avocados because although we don't eat the bitter pits, they're usually discarded, we must remember that these are the seeds. It reminds us that each beginning may be a little painful, but it can start from a small seed. The Israelites are just starting out as a nation, and just as a student is starting to learn Hebrew and Torah, we don't expect our fourth graders to be able to read the whole Torah, or that would be fabulous. But we have them learn the letters and the vowels, and with time and knowledge, they grow. Just as the olive pit will grow, and so will the Israelite people. There are some seeds with hard coatings that protect them too. If you want to plant those seeds in a garden, sometimes you have to scarify them. We're not sneaking up on our seeds and yelling boo. It's a process of taking sandpaper and other rough surfaces, wearing away the outer coating of the seed to make germination easier. Now for humans, our outer walls and hard emotional shells cannot be taken down as easily as by sandpaper. We must do the harder work of breaking out of our shells ourselves. And I don't have all the answers, but crossing of the seed didn't happen all at once. It took a brave Nachshon to make the first step. And a big oak tree starts from a small acorn. So start small in the new year of the trees. Find a new connection to nature. Take more walks outside, or plant a small plant inside. If you don't have a green thumb, I highly recommend air plants. Eat some exotic plant that you've never tried before. There are miracles in nature all around us. We just have to be open to look at them, from the majestic oak tree to the tiny mushroom at its base. So may the study of Torah, our Eitz Chaim Hi, our tree of life, lead us to paths of happiness, and may we be open to the miracles in nature. Wishing everybody a Shabbat Shalom and Chag Tu B'Shvat Sameach. And so we're going to continue with our service with Aleinu as I invite up Mr. Gene Farber, head of our search committee, co-chair of our search committee for the rabbi, and also in honor of his father's yard site. We rise for Aleinu, page 282. seated. Page 289. In nature's ebb and flow, God's eternal law abides. When tears dim our vision or grief clouds our understanding, we often lose sight of God's eternal plan. Yet we know that growth and decay, life and death, all reveal a divine purpose. God, who is our support in the struggles of life, is also our hope in death. We have set God before us and shall not despair. In God's hands are the souls of all the living and the spirits of all the flesh. Under God's protection we abide, and by God's love we are comforted. O source of life, soul of our soul, cause your light to shine into our hearts and fill our spirits with abiding trust in you. We mourn the losses in the last 30 days for our members and all victims of violence here and around the world. We remember Gordon Edward Schechter, Yosef Ben Abraham, and Joseph Feinstein. We remember the yearly anniversary of death, Jacob Gumanek, Jacob Flam, Shirley Person, William Farber, Meyer Katz, Irving Klein, Joel Michael Kriegel, Jessica Rabin, Sol Robbins, Eddie Robinson, Timothy Rothman, Morris A. Stein, Lawrence Tucker, Helen Fields, Joseph Gutman, Rose Coleman, Betty Israel, Ida Joyrich and Wendy Joyrich, Simon Morocco, Elaine Mullen, Alma Reese, Eric Steiner, Jane Sweet, Ida Michelson Oventhal, Linda Kaplan Stone, Rose Tuckman, Samuel O. Woloch, Morris M. Colton, Seymour Friedman, Kara Elizabeth Aki Mochizuki, and Tilly Steinberg. And to those names we remember. And so we say of them all, Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing as we rise together in solidarity for Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'himru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam ulamei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudasha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, and let us say, amen. Please be seated. Announcements tonight are brought to you by our treasurer, Sharon Spilkin.
I didn't know this was a holiday of taxes, so as the treasurer, please pay your pledge. Thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you to Cynthia and Barb for ushering. Please note that the rabbinic candidate visit scheduled for Tuesday, February 7th and Wednesday, February 8th has been canceled, and the candidate will not be visiting. Stay tuned for more information regarding the rabbinical search that's coming forth. Come join us next Friday, February 10th, when our religious school students will be leading our Shabbat service. Services start at 6 p.m., followed by a pasta dinner. The cost for dinner is $5 per person or $20 per family. Please RSVP to the temple office for dinner. The kids have a special service plan, so please come and support them. Join us also for the Super Bowl watch party at TKA. This will take place on Sunday, February 12th at 5:30. The cost is $10 per family and includes food, drinks, and fun. Please RSVP to the office as well. Join us tonight for our first Friday dinner. We will be meeting at the library pub after services. Everyone is welcome, so please join us. And lastly, it's not on the announcements, but I wanted to wish Janet a very happy birthday. So happy, healthy year to come. Wishing everybody Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. So we will continue with a little motzi and a little kiddush before everyone goes off to dinner. So I invite Cindy and Jim Stegman to help us make kiddush on page 5 on our prayer books. Please rise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzah banu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu Zikaron lema'aseh bereshit Ki hu yom techilo lemikra'ei kodesh Zecher litziat Mitzrayim Ki banu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol Shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Hamotzi lachem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lachem min haaretz. Amen. B'teavon. Thank you so much. So before our closing song, please be seated. Before our closing song, I have a little letter from a tree. Dear friend, stand tall and proud. Sink your roots deep into the earth and reflect the light of a greater source. Think long term. Go out on a limb. Remember your place among all living beings. Embrace with joy the changing of the seasons, for each yields its own abundance. Feel the wind and the sun, delight in their presence, and seek nourishment from the good things in life. Simple pleasures, earth, fresh air, light. Be content with your natural beauty. Drink plenty of water. Let your limbs sway and dance in the breeze. Be flexible. Remember your roots and enjoy the view. Our closing song, Eitz Chaim Hi.